Ladies and gentlemen, I'm officially going to the Apple Genius Bar because I cracked my iPhone. Welcome to the Think Different podcast. That's right. It is a special episode dedicated to Apple TV, and we are here today to discuss all the Apple TV stuff that is on Apple TV Plus. I am Will, the TLD Vuffiness, back from a fresh wrestling match, which I did win. Thank you. And thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce the man who did not come to the show. It is the man who's going on vacation literally in T-minus 24 minutes. It is Mr. Vacation Tim. I almost gave him your last name. That's not your last name. It's Vacation Tim. Tim, how you doing, sir?
Doing well, man. I'm excited for my vacation. I'm going to Nashville, Tennessee.
You got to get some ribs and some steaks and some hospitality.
Yeah, I'm excited for the food. I'm excited for the music. I'm trying to hit a lot of jazz clubs. My girlfriend's into country music, so we're going to probably do some country stuff.
That means that's stuff he doesn't want to do, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And my favorite band is actually playing in Nashville Friday night, so we're actually going to their concert. So that'll be fun. It'll be a good little weekend.
All right. Well, for you. Now, I did crack my phone this morning. I'm not lying.
Did you really?
About that. Yeah. Not kidding.
You have AppleCare?
Oh, yeah. I got the iPhone upgrade program. So I was on the bus watching one of the Apple TV shows. So naturally, this is already a great start for me with Apple TV. And it fell off while I was coming home on the bus and cracked the top of my receiver. So I had to get a new screen on here. So that'll be fun to go to the Apple Store. And, I get to at least document an experience. So look at it like that. All right, guys.
This is so funny, Will, because you cracked your screen trying to watch Apple TV, get first reviews in so we can talk about this on the podcast. I updated my Apple TV, and the update ruined my Apple TV.
Oh, nice.
So all because I wanted to watch Apple TV on the Apple TV app. So then I had to reset my entire Apple TV. That was taking forever because the update was taking forever. So I ended up watching all the episodes that I watched for this podcast on my iPhone. So that's kind of fun.
The best viewing experience ever.
Yeah, no, it was actually pretty nice.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. Apple TV Plus has officially ruined both me and Tim's lives for the Think Different podcast. Make sure, guys, that you are reviewing us on iTunes for the Think Different podcast. Give us some reviews on Spotify, Pandora, Zune. It doesn't matter where you look for this podcast. Please leave a review, guys. Share it out. And make sure you join us on the Facebook page at the Think Different podcast and on the Twitter. And then also check out our YouTube channel. We're almost at 1,000 hits for that very first Maps app versus app.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, see? So people actually are watching it. So that's a good thing. So we're going to we have to post more on that YouTube. But now let's talk about Apple TV Plus. So we're going to jump right into it. This whole episode is dedicated to Apple TV Plus. So what we're going to first do is break down Apple TV Plus a little bit, just for whatever reason you don't know about anything about it. So remember that Apple TV is giving a 7-day free trial to join up. That means you have 7 days to watch every single thing that they have, which you could probably do, actually. And you can watch...
Well, no, you can't. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. It's an episodic streaming service. So new
and the episodes that are currently
Friday.
Up, you can watch them all, Tim.
Well, I guess. But to continue watching them, you do have to sign up for the service.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the interruption of Tim. Tim, shut up for a second. All right. So you get a 7-day free trial. And then, of course, the pricing is $4.99 a month for a monthly subscription, which is definitely one of the lowest plans as far as a streaming service. However, when you buy an iPhone, an iPad, a Mac, or an Apple TV, you will get 1 year subscription completely free. You really have no excuse to not at least try Apple TV. And by the way, if you're paying the $4.99 already, you're a fool. So, just to point that out, because there's so many ways to get it for free right now. And also for education, you get a discount, discount is $0.99. That's right. There's no cost. There is no cost if you are an educator like myself, because I still go to college.
Technically,
as we know. Anybody that is education, sign up. Now, there is a specific way you sign up. You do that through iTunes to sign up if you are a educator or you're in college and you get this for free. So that's what Apple TV is. You can also find it not just on Apple devices. You can find it on some smart Samsung smart TVs, some Roku, some Amazon Fire Sticks.
Sticks, yep.
So you have to research which ones are compatible. Use this thing called Google. You search it, and guess what? You'll find the answer. It's a powerful tool.
Is that what that does?
That's exactly what that does, Tim. All right, so let's get into a little bit about the shows. So we're going to start with the shows that we watched, both of us watched, and then we're going to talk about ones that maybe each of us watched separately and give our opinion. So let's talk about the big one, the one that everyone, or I would say not everyone, I would say Apple really pushed, and that is the morning show. All right, so it's all. It basically is a background of how a news studio acts, and within the controversy of this Me Too movement, basically they're kind of using that as a storyline, I would say, to do the show. So first off, Tim, what were your thoughts? I mean, overall, I would say the production of it is really good. Like that, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of bright, like when they're in the studio, the colors are extremely bright, you know. And meanwhile, when you're watching the rest of it, it's very dark, especially when you're in. One of the things I noticed, and this is one thing I noticed being a film major, is you go to like certain homes and there's different styles of lighting in the homes. And then I noticed specifically with Steve Carell's character, everything's always seems to be very dark, blue.
Oh, yeah. I was going to make that exact comment.
Yeah, it's very, very blue and dark. When you go to Reese Witherspoon, it's a little bit brighter in there, in her environment, but we really see her kind of traveling around a lot more. And you can see she's having her own issues with her own family. And then Jennifer Aniston has her own issues trying to deal with everything that's going on. So again, production-wise, it's definitely great.
Yeah, I mean, and you can. It's clear as day. Now we mention it as it is Apple's like kind of flagship for Apple TV Plus. However, it was the least watched TV show this weekend for launch.
How do you know that? Where do they get that info?
CNET.com. They already have that data up. So the number one watched.
Where do they get that data from? I'm just very curious of how they know that.
Yeah.
They had to get surveys. There's no way that they just know Apple's viewing results.
Yeah, in the U.S., the morning show is the least rated show based on Nielsen TV ratings. And C was the number one.
Really?
Okay. That aside, the morning show, I enjoyed it. It's definitely going to entice me to watch it more just because I'm very excited about the star-studded cast of it. But Will, this was a shocking thing of it. We talk about how it's the flagship for Apple TV Plus. Guess how much per episode it cost to make?
I know, it was a lot. But you can tell me the number.
$15 million per episode, which is tied with the most of all time with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was $15 million per episode. So it is tied for the most expensive TV show per episode in TV history, which is kind of crazy. For a show that just started, you know, you can make the justification that Game of Thrones was, you know, it's well established, well known, had a huge fan base, why that was so expensive. But for a show that has just hit the, you know, TV network in a sense, is already costing that much money.
So everyone has to think about this. Like, where is the $15 million going? It's going to those people in that show.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I mean,
you know, they're being paid like $1 million. They have to alone being paid $1 million per episode.
More than that,
yeah,
probably.
The fact that it costs $15 million an episode, and these people are stealing money from Apple basically for this, and it's not even that, you know, well received of a show. That's not a good sign. Even though they have 2 seasons already booked for it, basically.
Yeah, they do. They have 2 seasons booked. You know, and maybe I'm the negative Nelly in the sense, but I am not believing Jennifer Aniston as her character as this news anchor. I just don't see her in that kind of role. And so for me, it's not believable.
Right.
Reese Witherspoon makes sense. Steve Carell,
actually,
totally.
I actually thought Reese Witherspoon's the best one so far.
Oh yeah, she's a fantastic actress. Yeah,
so
she's fantastic.
I'm enjoying that, and I'm also enjoying Billy Crudup, who's the network guy.
Oh yeah, he's cool.
He's cool too. I do like him as well. So right now, I like those players. Yeah, but Jennifer Aniston's like, but Reese is definitely stealing it right now for me. And the episode was basically we watched the first one. So we didn't watch any other episode yet of 2 or 3. Now, by the way, there are 3 episodes pretty much of each show. that's out right
Except
now.
Dickinson.
Except for Dickinson, yeah. I think
Dickinson's the whole season.
Oh, the whole season. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the first scene is all about news anchor who basically had an affair with, what they're saying it's an affair, but reality he's saying it's consensual, which you don't know yet, really the truth of that yet, which they're kind of holding off on.
Yep.
You don't know if it's real or it's not. And it's funny how I enjoyed it a little bit because I like the fact that he cared more about how wrong, how he was consensual, but he doesn't care about his wife. Like you very rarely.
Yeah, she kind of just left.
She kind of just finally left, but she was like in the background, not even saying anything, and you didn't see her at all, which I thought was like, wow, he just doesn't even give a crap about his wife at all. He just cares because he knows his career's over and that he believes he's been wronged. So, but the ending of it was really good with how they set up Reese Witherspoon's character, how she got to the morning show, and I'm looking forward to at least the next one. And so far, it hasn't bored me, but it's not like it's not like my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with everything you said.
All right, so let's talk about the next show. Now, this is a show that I like the most. For All Mankind, imagine a world where global space race never ended. What if it was actually the Russians that got to it first, or the Soviets in this case? So that's what this is all about, is a alternate timeline of what happened with the moon landing. How many episodes did you watch?
I only watched the first episode as well.
Okay. So I watched actually 1 and 2 already on that one. This was definitely my favorite show so far.
Why so?
My favorite, well, one is I like alternate timelines. What if we didn't make it to the moon? When was the last time you saw a show that talked about that or, made a whole show about it? That hasn't been done. So I think it's a really interesting way of how they would have done it. How the president, I like too, they're using real news footage and clips, and they're just dubbing the overlay of it, which I think is really cool. I like that idea a lot. How they're just taking some news stuff that, the good thing about news is that it's royalty free. You can grab it and use it for anything. And how they're just redoing the voices and redoing everything on how President Nixon is reacting to this and, how NASA's reacting to it and how one particular astronaut who is the focal point of the show, which is Ed Baldwin. He's the main character in the show, and how he is saying how NASA sucks. It's NASA's fault. And then there's a reporter that reports that and basically kicks him off of one of the Apollo missions, which is what his result of talking too much. But I think it's very interesting how an alternate timeline of the moon landing, how it would have gone if the Soviets got there first.
Yeah, and I like how it's so different because it's not a movie about Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. You know what I mean?
Like they are in it.
They're in it,
yes.
And they're very like a side character,
they're a background
almost,
character,
like a background character. Yeah, exactly. So I love that perception of it. It's like based because when I was originally watching it, like midway through the episode, I was like, oh wow, is this going to be about like the Apollo mission that never happened? You know what I mean? Like these two astronauts that were promised an Apollo 15 mission, and it never happened because they made it in Apollo 11. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so cool. And then it evidently is about those two characters. So this show, I'll talk about Dickinson in a second, but this show by far caught the most attention from me, just because I like space stuff. And this is such a different take on it. And I love history pieces and stuff like that. So I'll definitely be tuning into this one.
Yeah, I think this one was also the most highest rated that I've heard. I mean, unless you have some.
No, it's actually Dickinson.
Dickinson? I know this was definitely higher.
This was higher than the other ones, but Dickinson's at the top.
Yeah, this one I would definitely give a try. They have 3 episodes right now. They're basically, I watched the second episode already, and it's all about trying to get the person that's in charge of NASA right now out of his position because they believe he's the reason why they didn't make it to the space race, and they want to try to do something different. Like they want to go beyond what they're capable of doing. Like they're talking about putting a base station on the moon already, and with only one mission to the moon. And how Ed, who is the main character, they actually bring up a way. They try to get him to go against NASA, and they do a creative way of explaining his Apollo 10 mission and how he could have landed on the moon if he wanted to. And he explains it. And I think it's a really interesting way of he's like you feel bad for him in the first one because he did something stupid, but he redeems himself in the second one. Cool. And then you'll see the ending, the twist ending, which leads to the third episode, which you could maybe figure out based on just a screenshot of what you see online. So that's For All Mankind. Definitely that's the one I would check out from my experience on there. Now you're going to talk about Dickinson because you actually watched an episode of that one. So talk about that one.
Yeah, so this is actually pretty cool. It's a little bit different than the two prior shows that we talked about. It's based in the 18th century, and it's a TV show about Emily Dickinson, who's a famous poet and writer from that time period. And it's not like your typical like time period piece where it's like, oh yeah, it just goes with emotions, tells a story about Emily Dickinson.
It's more modern, right? They try to modernize
modern.
it.
It's like has a modern twist, and it's funny. They classified it as a period comedy, a black comedy, or like a historical drama fantasy, which I think it hits the nose on that idea of the historical drama fantasy, because it just goes into these different what they think Emily Dickinson thought like, because she really thought she was more intelligent than everybody around her. So it's just kind of funny. It's kind of poking fun at that she probably was the most intelligent person in the room, but because of the time period she lived in, she wasn't recognized as that. So I think it's hilarious. What's really funny is the casting. There is this character called Death, and that is casted by, played by Wiz Khalifa, the rapper.
Oh, that's great.
And then there's another character who I haven't reached yet because I've only watched the first episode, who's actually played by John Mulaney. And John Mulaney is my favorite comedian of all time. And so I think that's just hilarious that he's in this show, and I look forward to seeing him in an 18th century kind of setting. So that's going to be really funny. But no, this has been the highest rated TV show Apple TV Plus released this weekend. Everyone's loving it. It's kind of like that Dark Horse in a sense kind of show. You know, it's funny, it's quirky. It's only 35 minutes episodes. This was the only show that they released all 10 episodes for the entire season. So it's definitely worth a watch for somebody that is interested in kind of a dark comedy. It's Emily Dickinson is played by Haley Steinfeld, who I guess is an up and coming actress, and this was already signed for a second season prior to even being released. So it's definitely worth a watch.
All right, awesome. I'll have to check that one out. My individual show that I watched, well, believe it or not, was Snoopy in Space. So Snoopy in Space is basically he wants to become an astronaut, and Charlie Brown and the Peanuts gang take him to the International Space Station, and he's just trying to get to live his fantasy as a astronaut. So if you like the Peanuts has been kind of like something that not everyone loves. It's kind of like you like it, you don't like it kind of deal. I love Snoopy. I love Charlie Brown. In fact, every Thanksgiving, if I have the opportunity to watch Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, it's one of my favorite things to watch. It just brings me that time. So the episode is definitely child-oriented, no doubt about it. It's definitely a little bit harder for you. The first episode was kind of okay. I wasn't like overly impressed with it.
Yeah.
It's just there, I would say.
Okay.
Now the episodes are very short. They're only 9-10 minutes long, so they're very, very quick. So you can
that.
Yeah, so I do like the fact that it's short. Really up to you guys if you think you can give it a try. I mean, if you like Charlie Brown, you may like it. If you like Snoopy, you may like it. First episode didn't really like make me laugh so much. It just made me kind of like, yeah, it passed the time, but it wasn't like I was bored. That's the best thing I could say about that one.
Cool.
I don't know if there's any reviews on that one. I don't know if you saw anything with Snoopy in Space.
Not with Snoopy, no.
Okay. And then the last one is the other big three, which is C. So C is everyone is blind in the world. In the opening of it, they basically say in the 21st century, a virus went out, and now we are centuries later. So we're definitely way past any type of civilization. There's an army which is called the Witchfinders, and they're attacking the village that what's his face is in. Jason Momoa's in.
Jason Momoa. Yeah.
Yep. And then they give birth to 2 kids, and then that's what they're going after. The Witchfinders want the kids and the wife for whatever reason they want them. I don't remember really why. Okay. But everyone's blind in this movie, and I like the way they do right away in the first episode. You're going to see a fight scene. And it's really interesting how they try to figure out where they're going and how they do it. They're doing everything based on sound. Like almost their sound is very heightened. Like they could definitely hear, just like dogs, if they were blind, their senses really go up. This is kind of the same idea with them. You could definitely, like their eyes are all like they're looking around, like they're definitely not being able to see anything. But right now I'm halfway through it. And I like the fight scene. That was really cool. I will say this. It definitely has that Game of Thrones vibe. That is probably the biggest comparison that it's getting.
Yeah, that's been what all the reviews have been about.
Yeah, so they're just comparing.
Is that it's very
to
similar to Game of Thrones.
And the only thing I haven't figured out is apparently down the line, these kids eventually are able to have sight. That's what I've read, or that's what it's supposed to be. I'm still trying to figure out in my head, how do they know that? They can't see them. I don't know. So and they're babies. So I don't know how they're able to figure that out. So right now it so far is fine. It's basically a tribe versus a tribe kind of deal with people blind trying to defend their territories. And that's what it's about right now in the first episode. I haven't gotten to the second or third one yet. But yeah, you said apparently a lot of people like the reviews of it.
Yeah. I mean, so the reviews are mixed. The reviews are kind of, it seems like they're just trying to make another Game of Thrones or satisfy the Game of Thrones fans that weren't satisfied after that season.
No, I never watched Game of Thrones, so I don't have HBO. So I never watched it. So for me, I'm going into this without knowing Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So for the other entire population that have watched Game of Thrones, we were disappointed on how the show ended. Well, I shouldn't speak for everybody, but I would say a majority of us were disappointed by the end of the show. So there's kind of framing this as a replacement for Game of Thrones. I don't see that happening. But yeah, I mean, it's got mixed. That's the biggest one that has mixed reviews, but is the most watched out of the launch weekend.
All right. So that's most of the episodes that are out now. Other things that are out right now is the Oprah Book Club. There is an episode already out for that. For me, I have absolutely no interest in that. It's not for me. It's definitely for people. It's definitely for older people.
Yeah.
We also have The Servant coming out. That's
going to be cool.
Yeah, that one is coming out actually the weekend of Thanksgiving. And it's about a Philadelphia couple in mourning after an unspeakable tragedy creates a rift in their marriage and opens the door for a mysterious force to enter their room. So I was surprised how good Split was. Man, did he make a comeback with that movie. That was
awesome.
Good movie. And then the fact that it tied into one of his other films, it's one of my favorite endings of a film in a long time. It was so good.
Unbreakable?
Oh, no, Split.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, loved it. For people like my wife who didn't know about Unbreakable, to her it's like, wow, I don't get what's going on. But for someone who did watch it, that really got you. We have The Elephant Queen coming out, so that I believe is going to be a documentary on obviously elephants. Makes perfect sense.
What gave it away?
We also have Hala, which is a drama. It's basically a teen who struggles to balance being a suburban teenager in a traditional Muslim upbringing. That might be interesting to see that. Could piss some people off. And by the way, there's a lot of cursing in a lot of these as well. Oh, and then we also have The Ghost Writer as well. And that's a kid. That's when a ghost haunts a neighborhood bookstore, it starts releasing fictional characters into the real world. And that is already out now. So that you can also
watch. Sounds like
Goosebumps. And that's what we have right now on Apple TV. So now that we've kind of talked about everything, let's talk about it. Is Apple TV right now worth $4.99 a month?
No.
No, it's not. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, so there's two things that I have a complaint about. One is that they're episodic, so there will be new episodes released for each of their shows every Friday.
So I disagree. I'm disagreeing with you on that one, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to watch it, if I want to continue to watch a show because that show is so good, I want to watch it and I want that instant gratification. I hate, my favorite TV show that I watch is Mr. Robot, and I hate waiting for the next Sunday to find out what happens next. I just want that. I just want to be able to watch it right now. So if the show like The Morning Show or For All Mankind really starts to interest me and intrigue me, I hate that I have to wait for an entire week to watch the next episode, and I'm paying for the service to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's ridiculous about it.
See, for me, that's okay.
Sorry. My second complaint is, I know the TV app came out with, I believe, iOS 10. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was iOS 10. And it was that idea where it's that centrally located application that connects all your viewing and your, all the subscriptions that you have, and you can just go there, and then that kind of is your navigator to all your apps. To be honest, Apple TV Plus gets lost in the TV app. Yeah. I found it very hard to find all the original content, to search, to find which episodes I wanted to watch, because I just watch so much other TV, and it's just so overwhelming in the Apple TV app that it took me a while to actually find the Apple TV Plus content that wasn't the morning show. I mean, the morning show is just posted everywhere in that app, but all the other stuff, I had to search for it. So I'm a little disappointed in that. I don't know if a lot of Apple users are going to have that kind of complaint, but that's just my two complaints that I have. I don't know about you, Will.
So I don't really have a complaint on the episodic. I actually do like having a build up to the next week. It's no different than what's on TV now. I mean, I'll be honest, Netflix kind of spoiled it by giving everybody everything right away. Yeah. And I kind of like waiting. Now, I will binge watch. I don't mind binge watching like the first 3 episodes of For All Mankind. I'm fine with that. But I also don't want to finish it so quickly either, because then I have nothing to wait for, especially if there's nothing else I want to watch on there. So I don't mind the episodic time frame at all. As far as finding them, yes, I will say it's a little hard to find them. The other thing I'm a little upset with is the downloading of them. Now, remember, you can download these to your devices. Right. So my experience with that has been kind of iffy. There's one episode of Dickinson that did download. Meanwhile, I tried to download C, and never downloaded at all. In fact, the Apple TV app was freezing a lot every time I tried to open and close it.
I was getting that same problem.
Oh, you were too.
Which is why I reset my Apple TV, and now I didn't have a problem after that.
Okay, so I'm glad I'm not the only one that had that problem. But it's definitely something that took a while. Now it's finally downloaded to my machine. I actually just checked out, see that did download finally to my device. But yeah, it is like when I'm on it right now, like it says watch now, movies, TV shows. It has my up next, so it does have that. Where my Snoopy in Space was. And there is a section for Discover Apple TV Plus, but you have to scroll down a little bit to get to it.
You have to scroll down, yeah.
Yeah, it's there. But I would expect that, you're right, to be like at the very, very top.
Or even just be like a section, be like Apple TV original content or whatnot.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not the easiest way to find them yet, and I'm hoping that maybe they'll fix that. Otherwise, as far as complaints go, I think the app is a little buggy. That's for sure, and it's a little bit harder. It's a little hard to find the content you're looking for. I mean, you could just do a search, honestly, but I would want to be able to press that right away and get to it.
Yeah, I mean, like especially when they come out with more content, like Amazon Video does so well, is that they obviously brand, and Netflix does it too. They obviously brand their thumbnails with "This is an Amazon Video original." Blah blah blah.
Exactly.
I didn't really see that in the Apple TV app.
No, it's not. It's not at all. And that's, again, maybe something they could do. The other thing they are doing is they are going to come out with a film, which I'm looking forward to as well. I think it's with Samuel Jackson.
Oh, like a full-length movie?
Yeah, and that's going to be that is going to be in the movie theater, but I think Apple's producing it, and then I'm sure it'll go right up to the Apple TV Plus. So they're also going to be doing a couple films as well. So Sweet. Right now with the service, it's definitely not worth $4.99. Definitely, you just buy an Apple TV. It's $169, and you get a whole year of Apple TV Plus. So that's the cheapest product you can buy right now that would get you that. So it's a no-brainer to at least get one Apple product. At least you get the this for 1 year for free, or take advantage of the education, or if you really are enjoying the content, then the $4.99 might be worth it for you. But I don't think it is, because next week we have Disney Plus.
I know, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for Disney Plus. My wife is excited for Disney Plus. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come out with on there, and I think it's going to really blow people away.
I don't mean to amp up Disney Plus so much, but even if you think about that, the amount of original content that they're releasing at the release date trumps Apple TV Plus so much, because Apple TV Plus came out with what, 7, 8 original shows at the release. You know, Disney's Plus is coming out with so many. I can't wait for Pixar in real life. It's gonna be amazing. I'm shaking because I'm so excited.
I'm looking forward to the new Star Wars, the Boba Fett. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the
I'm looking forward to
Megalodon,
Jeff Goldblum's show. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
They're doing the Disney documentary about Disney World, how that was built. So they're doing a whole. They're doing it themselves. So it's going to be
all the Pixar shorts that are coming out.
Yeah, they got a lot. I mean, it is 2 different services. Bottom line, guys, it's just 2 different ones. So just remember that Apple TV is a niche thing for a niche thing. And honestly, time will tell after 1 year how it will be. Because for me, judging it right now is not really fair. They wanted to beat Disney Plus. You know that. That's the only reason why it was out.
It was obvious
this week. So, keep your nuts in the underwear, and give it some time. But buy an Apple product and you get it for a year. Do it. But a lot of people had a hard time signing up. That was a big rumor too. That a lot of people had a hard time signing up.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot on the internet.
So that must have been fun. Not me, because I had my education discount.
And not my problem anymore because I don't work there.
Yeah. All right, everybody. So that is our opinions of Apple TV. Please leave us any feedback that you like at thinkdifferentpodcast.com or on our Twitter page, which is at thinkdivpod. And you can check us out on Facebook. Tim, final thoughts before you leave the United States to go to Nashville.
It's in the United States, Will.
Oh.
No, Apple TV is... I would say it's an okay starting point. I hope it gets better. Is that mean to say? I don't know. It's not something that's worth my money, and it's only $3 more to buy Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. It definitely is not worth it right now to put your $4.99 down on it. So definitely do the free trial. You could definitely watch everything you need to watch in that free trial. And then if something comes out that's really, really special, hell, you can subscribe to it for 1 month and then just cancel it again if you really don't want to do it. Or just buy one of the new Apple products. And then make sure that if you're buying it as a gift for someone this holiday, tell them about Apple TV Plus. Hey, you get this too.
That's important. Yeah.
So it's definitely important to know that. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for this episode. We went really longer than I thought we would about Apple TV Plus. Thank God we only did this. And we want you guys to come back and join us next week. But make sure that you send your thoughts and prayers to Tim on his Instagram page, because he's going to be posting like crazy every single thing that he is going to be doing.
Yeah, I'm going to try and take a picture of those angel wings that all the chicks take a picture at. You know what I'm talking about?
They're called women, not chicks. I apologize to all you PC freaks out there that he called them chicks. Thank you very much for this episode. Enjoy your day. And remember to think different and to make sure that Tim goes to sleep.
Peace out.